Bhagavāraham samma sambuddho swakato ayena bhagavantan dhammo supatipanno yasa bhagavato savaka sangho tammayang bhagavantan sandamang sasangang ime sagare yadaram Aropite Abhipujayama Sadhono Bante Bhagava Sunjira Bhamini Bhutopi Pajima Janatano Gamba Madasa Ime Sakare Dukata Banaka Prabhute Patigannato Amma Kandi Karatang Itaya Sukaya Arang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivadi Swakato Bhagavanta Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavanto Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Dhamayang Buddhasa Bhagavanto Bhagavantanamakarangaro Mase Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So very nice to see everyone. Cameras on, please, so I can keep my beady eye on you. Cameras on, please. You hear me? So please, everyone here, everyone online, sit up well, good posture. And be prepared to remain absolutely still for the next 55 minutes or so. Now close your eyes, and as you close your eyes, you leave everything behind. And you try to remain still, please. No fidgeting about. And we commence as usual by bringing to mind the Buddha, recollecting his perfect mind, reminding ourselves that the mind of the Buddha was one that was quite clear from any form of defilement and even far away, far distant from anything of that kind. His mind also was a mind of infinite compassion, a quite wonderful and amazing being, perfect in knowledge and conduct. Now, when you remind yourselves of the Buddha, when you think of him, when you happen to see a Buddha Rupa, be inspired to do what you can to change your mind, to clear your mind too of all greed, hatred, and delusion, and free yourself from all suffering. And remember to approach this with a mind of loving kindness. Be kind to yourself. And especially when you encounter difficulties or areas of your being that you feel ashamed of or unhappy about, be kind to yourself, caring of yourself, and rejoice in your merits, in your good qualities, the good things you do. As well as accepting yourself just for who and what you are. And of course, treat others with kindness, be caring of them too, and appreciate their good qualities, and accept them too for who and what they are. Now, before we go any further, we have to take a minute or two to remind ourselves yet again of the harsh reality of our human condition. Time is passing. And as time passes, we grow older. And there's no stopping it, no turning the clock back. We just get older and older. And we live a very precarious existence because at almost any moment we can catch something, some bug or other, some part of our body perhaps that we've never even heard of can go wrong. We can meet with an accident. And of course, whatever we do, sooner or later, death comes for all of us. This is the human condition. Not very satisfactory, really and truly. And made worse usually by our attitude, our state of mind, our view and misunderstanding of things. So this we can do something about. We can't change the realities of our physical existence, but we can do something about our mind. So sit up well and quite deliberately now gather and concentrate your mind and direct your attention to your body. And just be mindful and aware of the shape that your body is making, your posture, and the solid nature of your body. And be aware now of your breathing. However still you are, there's still that slight movement as you breathe in and breathe out. Now try to locate exactly where and how you perceive the breath. And fix your attention just there. Keep your mind just there, so that now you can simply be mindful and aware each time you breathe in, each time you breathe out. I hope you've remembered that should your mind wander, should you find yourself thinking about something, remembering something, listening to something, that you should just, as soon as you're aware of what's happening, note it. Just attend to it. Don't need to move, to do anything at all, but just know what is happening. And then let it go and find the breath again. And do that every time. Whenever your mind wanders, whenever your concentration is interrupted by anything at all. So please maintain your very good posture. Stay upright and alert. And while I'm talking in the next few minutes, if you like, you can listen. All you have to do is listen. So first of all, a word about what we've been doing, about this practice of anapanasati. I hear over and over again these days people talking about breath meditation. And to be truthful, I don't much like it. It doesn't sound right at all. And somehow it seems to me that it's inclined to miss the point. The proper term is anapanasati. Sati, well, this is a word that is usually translated as mindfulness. We'll come to that, I expect, again in a minute. And anapana simply means in and out, the in and out breath. So it means to concentrate on being mindful and aware of breathing in and breathing out. Which I think is a bit different from speaking of breath meditation. And it's rather more precise. You're being mindful of this simple action. You breathe in and you breathe out. And you concentrate your mind just on that, on being mindful and aware of each in-breath and each out-breath. Now, anapanasati is also spoken of sometimes as a kind of preliminary practice. In many traditions, many Buddhist traditions, you will come across this practice. And yes, it's sometimes advised as the first practice, and then you might go on to something else. The implication being that anapanasati is for beginners only. And when you become rather good at it, then you go on to something more profound and exotic. Now, this again is inclined to be a misunderstanding. Yes, it's true that basic concentration on the breathing is the first thing that most of us are asked to do when we take up Buddhist meditation. But you know, this practice of anapanasati was what the Buddha did. It's what he used to bring himself to complete enlightenment. And talking about anapanasati, he praised it very highly. It's one of two important discourses the Buddha gave on meditation, the other one being the Satipatthana Sutta. And when he spoke about anapanasati, he didn't just say that it was a beginner's practice. He didn't say it was simply about concentrating and quietening your mind and making you feel a bit better. He went on to say that cultivating anapanasati can bring awareness of what are known as the four foundations of mindfulness. So yes, it's a very useful practice to enable you to concentrate and sharpen your mind and quieten your mind. Because, of course, when you're concentrated, when your mind is on one thing, your mind becomes quieter and more peaceful. It's obvious. A mind that isn't quiet is one that's jumping about from one thing to another. When it stops jumping about, then it becomes, you will say, quiet and peaceful. And while your mind jumps about all over the place, well, that can be, you would say, quite stressful. And when you discover that you can just hold your mind on one thing, you realize that it's a practice that can deal with your stress, to help you to overcome stressful situations. That discovery is really simply about the nature of your mind and what it does and the effects it can have for you. So if your mind is reasonably still on one thing, then inevitably you feel better. Now, of course, you're concentrating on your breath. And you will discover that when you concentrate on your breath becomes quieter. It doesn't, or it isn't as ragged as it might otherwise be. And the fact that your mind is doing this, becoming quieter and more concentrated, your breath becoming quieter and more concentrated, the two are actually helping each other. And so, yes, you feel better. But then, when you're concentrating on your breath, being mindful and aware of each in-breath and out-breath, you're in fact becoming very aware of your body, a function of your body, part of your body. And this is the first of the four foundations of mindfulness, to be mindful and aware of your body. And the Satipatthana Sutta mentions concentrating on the in and out breath. But of course, there's more. Because, as I've just been saying, you feel better when you practice and you keep your mind concentrated. Not just that, but the feeling is a pleasant feeling. And here you have the second of the four foundations of mindfulness, mindfulness of feeling. You become aware of how you feel, your feeling, the pleasant feeling. And sometimes, of course, when you're practicing, interruptions occur and you don't feel so well. And your legs ache and your back aches and your feelings are of the unpleasant kind. But here again, you have mindfulness of feeling. And the state of your mind, when you're concentrated, is such that, again, you are mindful and aware of that. Whether your mind is, as it were, kind of tense or open, is it a generous mind? And here again, you have mindfulness of citta, mindfulness of mind, of consciousness. And then it might occur to you that as you're watching your breath, mindful of your breathing, the in-breath happens because you've breathed out. And when you've breathed in, you have to breathe out again. And having breathed out, you need to breathe in. Your breathing in is dependent on having breathed out. Having breathed in, then you have to breathe out. Having breathed out, you have to breathe in again. But the principle of what is known as dependent origination. You learn so much by working with your breath, simply cultivating mindfulness of breathing in and breathing out. And so it covers the two realms of concentration and insight. Properly used, well used, it can take you a long way, even as the Buddha, all the way to enlightenment. So don't think of this as just a very kind of, beginner's practice. Understand that it is rather more than that. But you have to make that effort to keep your mind with each in-breath, with each out-breath, concentrating your mind. Yes, noticing when your mind wanders, when your concentration is interrupted. That too will inform you of things. Because when you note, when you watch that interruption, even only for a few seconds, you notice something. You probably may not be completely aware of it, but the knowledge of what you're seeing, of what you're observing, begins to accumulate. And the knowledge is of the nature of those interruptions. The pain that you sometimes feel. I know that some places they make a big fuss about sitting comfortably. You've got to be able to be comfortable all the time. If you're comfortable all the time, well, it's very nice, but it's not really the nature of things. And when those moments of discomfort appear, the ache or the pain, and you're aware of it, you're aware of a very important and profound teacher. Because when you observe that pain, you notice something about it. Normally, we just talk about the pain. It has a kind of reality that we give it. And we reinforce that reality with our fear of it. But when you watch it, is it static? No. When you sit back and simply observe, even for only a few moments, you can't help but notice that it's changing. There is a subtlety to it. It expands a little, contracts a little, moves a little. And this, of course, is the nature of all things, that nothing stays the same. And so you see, in many ways, with this practice, you learn. Admittedly, it takes time. The insight that you might be developing is gradual. It accumulates. But over a period of time, it changes you. But I have to say, you have to make the effort. and be precise about it. And I think that calling it for what it is and is a help to understanding the nature of the practice and what you need to do. Mindfulness of the in and out breath. Don't think about breath meditation. It's too hazy. Mindfulness of the in and out breath. Anapanasati. And mindfulness, of course, contains within it memory, remembering, remembering to keep your mind on the breath. So it looks as though I've talked enough. So I think that's enough for tonight, but I recommend that you do your best to really cultivate and develop this practice for your benefit, your lasting benefit, and the benefit of all those around you. So now, please, before we conclude completely, spend a moment or two with your mind focused on loving kindness for yourself and for all beings everywhere. May you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free from all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivade Swakato Bhagavanta Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Sobhapano Bhagavanto Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. So thank you all very much for coming. Very nice to see you all. I hope you have, I have to remember, is this Monday or Friday? Have a good weekend, and I hope we meet again soon. Good night.